there, underwear fans. I wanted to take some time in this video to talk to you about your makeup options for replicating the Joker look. My look isn't really based on anything specific. There's probably more than a little bit of inspiration pulled from the Dark Knight trilogy Joker from Heath Ledger's makeup, but there's so many great inspirations from the Batman Arkham Asylum Joker to any of the other films and comic books. So it's really just replicating your interpretation of the classic Joker or the modern Joker. One of the key things for me that's really important when dealing with makeup is the types of options you have that react with your face, and what you typically see in tutorials is the people telling you to use like just the cheap holiday makeup for something with a Halloween costume, and they'll often pull out these cheap grease makeups from different, like you can get these at Spirit Halloween or department stores this time of year. And these are great for people that have no problem with their skin, meaning they have that great skin that's always, in need of moisturizing because it's dry and their pores are never clogged, and that's great. For you guys that fall into that category, I'm jealous of you, and all power to you. You can use this kind of grease makeup. It's cheap and easy and disposable. For a lot of us though, myself included, smearing this kind of grease makeup on my face would, by the end of an hour or 2 or 3, would result in complete breakout. It would be a total nightmare for me and something that I would never want to do. This makeup, just being what it is relatively cheap, and therefore it's not really a very high-end cosmetic formulation, meaning it's going to clog your pores. They're not worried about your own skin in that way. It's just something quick, and it's a lower standard. I mean, you can get these just for a few dollars. That kind of tells you what the quality is. For those of us who do have to deal with the concerns of getting our skin messed up by wearing any kind of face makeup, especially over a large area of our face and the T-zone, like your nose and on your forehead, I did a lot of research to see if there was an option that was a higher end, better formulated, and particularly labeled as non-comedogenic. And that word means that it's not going to clog your pores when you wear it. Now, anytime you put something on your face, there's always going to be some problems with it, but I've found through my research this brand called Elegant Minerals, and this is let me show a close-up here. Hopefully there we go, you can see it. And this came in a set. You can order a whole lot of different options from their website, and I'll make sure that you have links to that. But this has been featured by a couple different well-known celebrities, and they sell all sorts of different colors, so it's great, and it's specifically meant for face painting, but it's meant to work better for those of us who have perhaps problem skin. It's not going to clear up your skin. It's not a medicinal type thing like a Neutrogena product, but it's definitely not going to do any damage to it. So I was really happy when I found this. The coverage works pretty well. You do have to perhaps use a little more of it than you do with grease makeup, but it's definitely worth it. I mean, it's spending a little bit more money because these come in small quantities, and you can order different sets with different amounts, and they come in this really cool stacked. You get an opportunity to pick your own colors. So if you just want a lot of white, you can just select a lot of white, and they come in this kind of stacked container that screws together, and then you can just apply whatever colors you want. I just got a sample because I wanted to find out how good they were, and I was really pretty happy. So these are some newer ones. So I highly recommend looking into this, Elegant Minerals, and they seem like a really high quality company. The shipping was relatively fast. It got to my door within like a couple days, 2 or 3 days. So you don't have to wait forever for your makeup when you order it. And the quality just seems to be what they advertise. So I think it's a great option for those of us who cannot use this super greasy, cheap Halloween makeup. Another option, which is kind of funny, and I know some of you may go, really, but if you're using if you're using products for a look that you don't care how finished and and clean and perfect it looks, because, for example, the Joker, it's kind of a busted up makeup. It's not supposed to be really pretty looking. You could actually use something like this, and this is something I've done before, and I know it sounds funny, but this is a face cleansing mask. This is for those of you who have super oily skin and can tolerate keeping a mask on all the time. And you could actually use this as a base layer to help keep your skin dry throughout the day, and then you could layer over, if you really had to, a less friendly makeup like the grease makeup, and it would give your skin a very kind of cracked and dry look, which might actually work well. I actually didn't have a problem with that, and it ended up going well. It's what I ended up using in the photo. So you may think about something unusual like that, and it's all about the quest of not having to have your skin drenched in these awful oils. So this kind of provides a way of getting a look that's not exactly based on makeup, but it has the same end result. So think about that, and I'll provide a link where you can use these. I recommend this mask from Acne Free just in general. It works really well. For those of us who have pretty oily, prone skin, I definitely recommend that. In terms of applying the makeup, I want to highlight the tools that you should have. So sponge brushes or sponges themselves are a really good way, especially if you're trying to do a lot of coverage here with any kind of grease makeup. And you can buy these, they're really cheap, you know, just for a few dollars you can get a whole big package of them. For the more detailed stuff, especially around your eyes, instead of using the grease makeup or this face makeup, you might use an eyeshadow color, which is going to be more of a drier pigment, and it's going to be safer for close to your eyes, although these products are non-toxic and perfectly fine to get near your eyes. But I would recommend switching over to an eyeshadow for the darkening of your eyelids, because that's just what these products are intended for. In order to apply that, you obviously should get a bunch of little sponge applicators, although you can use your fingers because you have a white base makeup. You don't want to be mixing your fingers with all the different colors, as well as just keeping things more sanitary. I think a lot of people, when they put on makeup, start using their fingers too much, and you really want to avoid that, because even when you wash your hands and try to keep everything clean, you're handling stuff, you don't want to transfer oils or other bacteria that might be around onto your skin. So it's better to apply anything you can with brushes. Makeup brushes can be bought. This is a set of Eco Tools, which works out really well. Just make sure you actually go to the trouble. It's a few dollars. Buy the right tools for the job. Don't try to go cheap, because you're dealing with your face and you don't want to do something that's going to make you regret what you did for a couple hours, and then you're going to have to deal with bad skin for a couple weeks after. It just makes a lot of sense to go to the extra effort and spend a few dollars and get your supplies together the right way. For the lips, this is where, again, I kind of went the cheaper route with it, which is just what was available at the department store in the Halloween section. I do want to highlight that if you want a really good look, you want to actually apply two tones. So you could apply the red for the base, and then do on the inside of your lip in the corners and kind of just along the middle part, a little bit of black. Not a ton, because you don't want it to get too dark, but apply both of these colors together and you're going to get something that looks a little bit more interesting than just one flat color. And obviously you want to make sure it's the right color red, nothing too bright or cartoony. For the hair, as the last piece, this is interesting because I've rarely gone into doing hair colors, and I ended up trying out these hair color sprays. There's a couple different brands here that I've tried out. This is from a different look that I was experimenting with. And what I found is that you end up having a hard time finding that kind of toxic green color. Generally what you get out of these sprays, depending on your own hair color, because that's going to cause some difference in the hue, it's going to be much more neon. This one was called Slimy Lime, which was definitely a pretty bright green. So what you should consider is how you can perhaps layer color. So you might be able to mix together like some yellow and then the green, and then tone it down with a little bit of black so that it doesn't feel so neon. And you'd be surprised, even those of us with darker color hair, this stuff will actually apply great. I mean, you'll get the solid color that you expect. You may have to apply more of it. And that's the other thing I'm going to mention. You should be really careful when you apply these hairsprays to be in a well-ventilated area. I know it kind of doesn't seem like a big deal, but you're going to end up spraying a lot of it, and after a while you're breathing in a lot of fumes, and it's not good for your lungs. It's toxic. You want to be real careful, so definitely make sure you're in an area, if not outside, then have an open window, running a fan, because this stuff is just not something you want to be breathing in very much. It's not going to obviously kill you, it's just my high recommendation. Those of you who may not be used to using these, they smell pretty strong initially. Luckily it'll dry and it won't smell too bad, but watch out and make sure you've got some ventilated area that you're spraying in. In terms of cleanup, definitely use some sort of makeup removing soap or makeup removing cloths. You don't want to just start scrubbing away all this makeup with standard hand soap. Those of you who don't use makeup as much, like me, sort of have to learn these things as you go, but it makes sense because you're having to take off a lot more than just the surface of your own skin when you're doing a daily face wash, and you can inadvertently start over scrubbing, and that's really bad. So I recommend you just try to be really gentle and spend a lot of time wiping off the makeup without scrubbing it or scraping it off, because you're again going to negatively affect your skin if you do that. The other thing is washing out this hairspray. You're going to have to watch and make sure you wash your hair out several times, because every time you think you've gotten it all out, you're going to suddenly notice there's more. So spend plenty of time in the shower and make sure you've totally gotten this out of your hair, unless you don't mind walking around with some green tinted hair for a while. Those are my basic tips for some of the Joker makeup. Again, this isn't meant to be a detailed makeup tutorial. It's more about cluing you into some product options and some recommendations of how you apply it and how you take it off. Hopefully this was helpful for some of you. Those of you who are much more experts in this, I think this was all basic stuff, but it's just helpful for the novices like me who had to learn a few things as I went. And I hope you have fun replicating your look. Halloween's coming up really soon, so I wanted to get this video out for you as soon as possible. And I hope you enjoy putting together your own costume, whatever it is. Until later, this is Underwear Guy, and I hope you have fun underwear shopping.